right now from Samuel Cowsert. Now the infect's starting to show up a little bit, but I haven't seen Wild McConnell yet, Patrick.
I know, I'm waiting.
I'm a little frustrated about that. So Ingram and Cowsert here as we watch round number 11. And especially take a look at their opening hand. We'll be underway here in this game 3 in just a moment. Peter Ingram, another member of Team Metagame Gurus, just watched one of his teammates lose, unfortunately, Andrew Jessup. But if Peter wins this one, he'll be right near the top of the standings here this weekend with Jeskai Control.
And I think Jeskai Control is great for this kind of matchup. It's one of the reasons
like it has to be.
One of the reasons you play a deck like this: 4 Lightning Bolt, 4 Path to Exile, 2 Electrolyze, a lot of cheap removal, a lot of removal that can produce 2-for-1s.
Cowsert with just a Wooded Foothills, he'll pass the turn for Ingram. He's got a Scalding Tarn, he'll pass the turn back. Sam going to sacrifice that fetch land. Going to fall down to 19, get himself a breeding pool, predictably.
But Infect is one of those decks, and you know, I kind of talk about show and tell decks being like this in Legacy. Even if your matchup's good, there's just a percentage of hands that almost no deck can beat.
Oh yeah, that's part of the appeal of the deck, right?
Right. Even your bad matchups, you can just power through sometimes.
Let's go over to Cowsert now. Dispel the draw. Always a goodie against the Jeskai deck. This is a Blighted Agent. You saw the land being an Inkmoth Nexus. Ingram's going to sacrifice that Scalding Tarn. So we'll see if he has a response to the Blighted Agent. He'll get himself a Sacred Foundry to start things off here. Not often you see that be the first land that a Jeskai deck searches for. There's a Lightning Bolt going to go after the Blighted Agent.
And Sacred Foundry is one of the better duels in this matchup, though, because you can cast Lightning Bolt and Path to Exile with it.
Yep.
And you just always want to make sure that, you know, you can cast multiple spells in one turn and be able to interact as much as possible.
Celestial Colonnade, the land there for Ingram. We'll head back Sam's way. Wooded Foothills appears to be the draw. He will play a Pendelhaven. He will activate Inkmoth Nexus and come across here for 1. Ingram going to take that 1 Infect, maybe. Looks like Path to Exile right now. And this is actually a spot where I like casting Path because there's not really much of a punishment.
Right, the damage-based removal is, those are the spots where you don't want to be doing a bunch of stuff inside of combat, because that's where the pump spells really play over the top.
Yep. Ingram with an Arid Mesa. And now we're heading back Samuel Cowsert's way.
But you're already starting to see a little bit of what we were talking about here. I mean, Ingram's start here was Bolt and Path, and you still get the feeling like he's not even close to being out of the woods here.
Oh, it's uneasy. I wouldn't be feeling good right now if I'm Peter. I'm only taking 1 Infect, but my opponent does have a lot of cards in hand.
And if you ever tap out inside of combat to try to get something off the table and fail, and they have mana left over, you get killed a lot in those spots.
We're certainly not going to see something like, you know, tap out to cast Nahiri, I don't think. You just die if you do that. Here comes Inkmoth Nexus and activation of Pendelhaven. Ingram's going to sacrifice Arid Mesa. Now we might see Snapcaster Mage plus Path to Exile here, perhaps. And that's a pretty good combination against Infect.
Although one that gets blown up pretty easily by any sideboard interaction that Cowsert has brought to the table here. Dispel or Spell Pierce or anything of the sort.
Vine's Apostle's Blessing. And there's Path to Exile. Looks like there's another Dispel here for Sam. He's going to sacrifice the Wooded Foothills. He might see Breeding Pool here in just a moment. Yep, there's Dispel. The damage he's dealing to himself, however, not irrelevant.
Yeah, no, this all adds up. And especially against a deck with as many bolts. But, you know, I suspect that the game is going to come down to Ingram basically locks him out of the game and can win at his own leisure for the most part, or he gets killed.
Back to Pete Ingram, we're going to go. His 4th turn of the game now. Beat downs with the snap. He does have a copy and a hearing hand. Little surprised to see that in his deck after sideboard. It just seems really hard to be able to cast that card.
I mean, in theory, the minus power is okay.
Sure.
But yes, it is not efficient. If he taps out for hearing and here, he's probably just dead. Find out in a minute, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not willing to.
Yep.
Cowsert will draw. Picked up a copy of Blighted Agent.
You can see, you know, Ingram with another Snapcaster Mage, but now Bolt's in the graveyard, not Path.
Yeah, big difference.
So if he gets involved in a stack inside of combat, this is where the Become Immense mutagenic growth type of stuff can play over the top and get you killed.
And the tough thing here is that Ingram doesn't have a really good idea of what's going on in Cowsert's hand. You know, no good taxing probes or any stuff like that. So you're playing a real guessing game against Infect. Now we can see Samuel's hand. He's got 2 Blighted Agents, a Breeding Pool, and a Become Immense. Mm-hmm. So his hand's actually not very good, you know, in regards to let's pick a fight and all that stuff. But Ingram doesn't know that. So here's an Inkmoth Nexus activation. Here come the beatdowns. Just one Infect. Pete not going to make a move. Samuel won't either. And will there be a follow-up here from Cowsert? Feels like he might want to get one of those Infect creatures on the battlefield.
Yeah, that seems pretty safe to me.
Yep. Here's Blighted Agent. Does it with a Pendelhaven.
It's a little surprising to me. I think he's trying to bluff that he has a blue spell in hand. To me, the risk of Electrolyze is so high that I'd rather just leave up the Pendelhaven. I get wanting to show, yeah, I've got Spell Pierce, I've got Dispel. Especially because if the last card has Become Immense, you're trying to kind of take Ingram off the scent of it a little bit. So by saying, yeah, the last card in my hand's blue, it's a counter spell. I get wanting to do that, but I would be scared to death of Electrolyze right now.
Here's Snapcaster Mage. Going to target Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt is going to be recast to kill something. Do you want to kill the creature land Inkmoth Nexus, or do you want to kill the unblockable creature and Blighted Agent?
With Nahiri in hand, I would probably get rid of the Nexus.
Okay.
Because in an ideal set of circumstances, what happens is Cowsert attacks you. It's not for lethal because he's playing around something or can't kill you. And then you can play Nahiri and minus it to get the Blighted Agent off the table. You don't have access to the same line of play against 8-Bot Nexus because it's not a creature on your turn.
Snapcaster Mage just come across. Cowsert's going to fall down to 8. Looks like a Pendelhaven activation going to go on the Blighted Agent. This is Might of Old Croja, giving +4/+4. This will be a lethal attack if this all works. Ingram. He's tapping red mana. I want to be tapping white mana right now if I'm Peter. We'll cast a negate. Negate will resolve. Now the hand I believe right now for Pete Ingram is 2 Nahiris and a Snapcaster Mage.
If I'm Cowsert, I'm going for the kill here because if Ingram has a Path in his hand, he's not going to negate that spell because he wants to Path my creature and then use negate to fight back against my answer to a Dispel or something there.
Sure.
To me, this screams that the coast is clear. There's also the question of how much better is it getting against this kind of deck?
That's also true. How many more turns do you want to play?
Right. I mean, their draw steps are so good.
Okay, I love this.
I mean, Ingram here making a good show of it, that's for sure.
I love that. Just a little reach to the lands.
Yep.
His hand is air. If Become Immense was cast, he would have died. I love it. Another Blighted Agent.
Though another Blighted Agent's not bad here for Cowsert as kind of a backup plan.
Yeah.
This is the other concern I have about playing around Lightning Bolt here. You're at 8, facing down 2 Snapcaster Mages. A Bolt might kill you, depending on what the rest of his hand looks like.
He just drew his 4 Snapcaster Mage. So now Peter gets to attack with all of his creatures. There's a real chance that Cowsert doesn't block here, but also there's a chance that he does block because of Lightning Bolt.
But now that he blocks, now Nahiri gets
kills the creature.
Right.
Yeah, so now Nahiri's going to come down. It's going to exile the tap Blight Agent, and now Cowsert's left with just 1 card in hand, which is a Become Immense, so there isn't a draw for him. He's just going to pass the turn back. Ingram's going to very quickly untap. He'll take a draw step here. He'll attack with these 2 creatures, and that's going to do it. Pete Ingram's going to win this match over Samuel Cowsert 2-1. Jeskai Control going to take care of Infect. If Cowsert went for it, however, he would have gotten the job done. Maybe that little reach over that Sacred Foundry was enough to stop Samuel from going off.
There's some